Hi, all chess goodies, and welcome to day 15 of my journey top 100 chess players in the world. So, yeah, to start with, I would start to talk about yesterday, where I played well, but I still lost 2 games, which is quite bad. But yeah, I lost it like on time in a winning position. That's how I lost the last one, so yeah, it was not that bad. So let's see if I can manage the clock better today. My first goal is to get back to top 1000, because I'm actually, I started this challenge like you can see it on the thumbnail. I think it was like 817. Now, as you can see, okay, we get an abort. So I have to wait for another pairing. So, but yeah, I want to get back to top 1000 first and then to 100 eventually. As I said, it's probably gonna take a while, but I'm sure we'll get there at some point. And also, probably even more important goal is to get back to 2300, I would say, which should be doable once I get used to streaming, basically. But why does it take so long to get pairing? Well, there is not much I can do other than expanding the rating range, but I've already talked about that before, and I haven't tried it, but it didn't go so well. But yeah, there we go. Still not impossible to get a pairing, so okay, I just went for d4 this time. Okay, why not? So c4, and let's see which Indian game are we gonna get. And then against g6, so I guess I'll go for knight c3. And now, okay, so we see the green for defense. I mean, you can play it like so, or even like queen b3 after knight f3, but I think I will stick with the main line. So pawn to e4, this capture will happen, and bishop g7, that makes sense. And now bishop to c4 is the main move. Yeah, pawn to c5 makes a lot of sense, and then knight to e2. Also possible to go to f3, but on e2 the knight is better, because after bishop to g4 you can go for pawn to f3. So okay, my opponent castle, so I will castle as well. This is quite a typical move, but I can just defend once again with bishop to e3. Now pawn to b6, so yeah, this is a pawn sacrifice line, but black gets a lot of counterplay there. So I might want to play rook to b1 first, and maybe only then take. I guess now my opponent should take on d4 maybe, since I put the rook on b1. Yeah, there we go. So I will eventually waste another move to get the rook to the open c file. But it was played to provoke this trade, sort of. And also to just run out of this diagonal. Because if I would put the rook on c1, black's not gonna trade, And then if I take, then the c file is locked. So that's basically what that's about. Knight to a5 is, I think, black can play in a lot of lines here. And okay, I do not really want to push those pawns forward because they are beautiful as long as they stay like they are right now. But what plan am I gonna play now? Like f3, knight c3. This pawn is still weak. I guess I'll just stick with the plan of wasting another move to get the rook to the open c file. That makes sense, I would say. Even though on the b file it was still doing something, like imagine this pawn being pushed to a5 somehow, then it would be nice to have the rook on b1. But that's not gonna happen so soon. If ever. Okay, pawn to e6, so now I might start to think about pawn to d5. Even though just knight e5. And if I take, my opponent takes, take there, then there's also the queens will get traded off, probably. Okay, so maybe I wanna play f3 first. Yeah, I'll go f3 first, and then I think d5 is possible. Because in that line, I would lose the pawn back on e4, but now I have the e4 pawn defended, so it's possible to play d5 and win a pawn, probably that way. Or maybe not, you know, it's possible to take, but if knight e5 would work, then it would be much better move for black. Okay, but the queen moves to e7, so I wonder if there is any difference. I think so. Yeah, there's definitely a difference. A lot of pieces here, so now I'm not gonna play d5. It wouldn't be so great. I should run away from the nasty d file with my queen as well. Also, I would like to activate the rook. Maybe like bishop b5, rook c8, I would expect. Queen a4. Is that something? It might be, let's try it. Yeah, a4 is a pretty nice square for the queen. Then get the other rook to d1. And I would be quite happy with the position, even though it's hard to say whether I have even a slight advantage here. Because black doesn't have any weakness as well, so yeah, I've got the space, but at the same time, d4 pawn is slightly weak. I would say it's the weakest pawn on the board, but it's nothing too serious. So now it will be all about piece placement, because the board is quite open, and at the same time, you always want to look for pawn breaks, and there are not quite a lot of them. I can play d5 and maybe e5 for black, or f5. That's the second one, but more risky one, so I'm not really sure. And other than that, on the queen side, there isn't a pawn break happening soon. Because yes, black can start pushing the pawns forward, but pawn breaks are when pawns will hit pawns. So, and that's quite far away from happening because my disconnected. Okay, I'm back, I think. I hope. And yeah, rook c8 was played. But now I can just put some more pressure to that knight with queen a4, as I wanted to. as planned, and then put the other rook to d1. So now, maybe, yeah, I wanted to say that knight a5 is quite logical thing to do. And maybe I can just attack the knight. Weirdly enough, it seems like bishop d2 is quite a good move. So maybe like bishop to d7. Rook c7 impossible. No, I think I'll stick with bishop to d2. How long have I been playing chess? I started, well, let's count it. I think like over 10 years for now. a6, okay, that was expected. Now if I take a takes b5, so that doesn't work at this move, but now I might go for that idea of playing bishop to d7, but that would not do much because there's this trait available. So I think I gotta trade first and then play bishop to d7. But then maybe like rook to c4. How dangerous is that? Or maybe isn't just this a thing? Pawn takes, takes, I take, and I lose both bishops for that rook, so that's not really a thing. Now I think I'll just move the bishop back. Problem with that is that the knight will just jump back and that's it. But after that, maybe like pawn to d5 then, even though knight e4. Yeah, Grunwald is a very complicated opening for both sides. You gotta be creative. Also, like maybe just knight c6, I can take the pawn on a6. That's a simple thing. At the same time, rook back to a8 would probably win the game, so it's not that simple. Okay, great. Knight c6 would make sense, and I think it's pretty much the only move here, maybe. Yeah, knight c6, there we go. Now I have to decide how to continue. But maybe it is possible indeed. I mean, I'm not sure. My idea is to play bishop to b4 to win the exchange once the knight isn't there. Maybe I could even sack the exchange temporarily. Even though bishop takes and that doesn't work. Maybe I can play like queen b3. Queen b3 looks good. Yeah, it does. It supports pawn to d5, defends this bishop, still controlling the b4 square, and attacks the b6. And that's quite important that the queen attacks the pawn on b6. So yeah, b5, that was quite the natural move to play. But now if pawn to d5, this, I think it should work, right? I am not so sure because there are a lot of piece tension there. But bishop to b4 should be strong enough. even though probably in a classical game would require deeper calculation. So okay, I got a recapture back with the pawn. Knight jumps into d4. Okay, that's something I did not really think about. It attacks the queen, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna trade, and now there's a check, so I cannot play bishop b4 just yet. I'll just shift the king to corner. So it doesn't seem like I'm winning the exchange indeed. So I'm left with this interesting pawn on d5, which is a strong pawn, but at the same time, it's a weak pawn. So like, you know, it depends who can make more of that pawn. If I can push it somehow to get nice value from that pawn, or if my opponent can just blockade it, target it, and eventually even capture it. So the play is gonna be a lot around this pawn. Also pawn to a4. Pawn to a4 is nice pawn break for me this time. Usually it's a good thing to do. I did not expect this move at all, because now this bishop retreat made this idea possible. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand this at all. They just blunders the bishop in one move. So now I can just grab the rook. Is there anything to it? Maybe this, like bishop to e5. Is that something? Because pawn to g3 doesn't work. I hope it isn't, but I cannot really see that. If I take bishop e5 immediately, and that's a threat of checkmate. Pawn to f4. Oh wow, wow, oh. Can I take that now? There's no time. There is also this tension between the rooks. This is getting difficult, and I don't think I can actually capture. No, I don't think so, but maybe pawn to g3 first. Okay, that was something I completely missed. But I spent half of my time that I had before this move. But now this. Not so sure. But probably I can take now. But yeah, we had about an equal time. But now I'm really rushed with the clock. Gotta defend that. This is possible because of d6 after f5. But gotta watch out for that. Maybe g4. Maybe f4 instead. Okay, it blocks that. Okay, I'll drop this bishop back to hit the queen. And then I gotta activate my rooks. Or maybe just trade if possible. I would be very happy to see a queen trade happen. But again, it's gonna be difficult with the time. Yeah, it was quite crucial to find that pawn to g3, I think, but at the same time, now it's gonna be really hard to keep up. Maybe some sacrifice is possible there. I don't know, I'll just defend as much as I can. Okay, let's grab that with the rook. I'll go up with the king. It's getting pretty tough. Okay. This is definitely better. Okay, I can give check. And then go up here. I think, I'm not so sure. This check, this. Okay, I can. Oh, I cannot. I missed. I blundered the rook in my one move. It's not so simple yet. Even though it is, because it's a checkmate. Oh wow. So I'm dropping below 2260 for the first time. So bad. They once again got to a time scramble in a better position, I would say, than that rook blunder, you know. Such things happen. But yeah, I'm just waiting till it will start to turn over somehow, because I know it will come eventually. I simply know that. But it's not so easy. Maybe I can play the greenfield defense with switched sides, so just to make it interesting. I played it from the white side last game, so let's see how it goes from the black side. So yeah, so far the game is the same as the previous one, except for the fact that the colors are switched. Still perfectly the same. Now we went for kingside castling first, and only then knight c6 was played, but yeah, I'll play knight c6 first. It might result just in a switched move order. It probably will. And now pawn to b6. Okay, so we actually have the exact same position on move 10, which is quite impressive. So let's see if my opponent goes for that pawn, because you can capture it. You can. I went for rook b1, I think. Okay, so queen d2. So now the game deviates from the last one. Can I play knight a5? I don't think so. Bishop d5 would be pretty bad. So maybe bishop b7 first. That might make sense. And now I can go knight a5. The knight on a5 in Grunfeld defense is pretty good piece. So yeah, now pawn to c4 is a possibility in some lines, but at the same time I don't really know. Pawn to e5 is a thing as well. If pawn to e5 immediately, then I guess my opponent would go for that pawn. So I will actually play pawn to c4 first and then pawn to e5 to attack white's center finally. And pawn to d5, I would expect that's quite a natural human move. In that case, I'll try to maneuver the knight back to d6. Okay, yeah, pawn to d5, I called it. So now the bishop is not that great here. But probably I can put it on a6 to guard that pawn. And jump back with the knight that way and block the pawn with the knight. And the knight would be very nicely placed on d6. So rook c8, possible to put additional support to that pawn. Okay, pawn to f4. That's a really aggressive move. I don't really know how to play against that. Because of this, yes, the pawns are weakened, but at the same time, pieces can jump to d4, which would be a pretty nice square, so I'll play f6 instead. It blocks off my best piece. Bishop on g7 should be the best piece in the Grunfeld defense, but yeah, now it's sort of stuck behind those pawns. But I got this plan in return, where I would make this knight the strongest piece on the board. If I would have 2-3 moves, if I can get 2 moves to bring it to d6. Okay, so rook f1, I don't think that changes anything. Can just go back. Yes, I can. Gotta watch out for the bishop a little bit. Maybe the queen can swing over, but yeah, it should not be too dangerous for me to hang this bishop. Okay, we see the trade, so now the rooks are facing each other. I wonder with which piece would I take it. I have 3 options. Okay, none of them. Bishop a4. So the bishop is coming to c6. How unpleasant would that be? Is b5 really necessary? Because I don't really want to go for pawn to b5. It depends how bad would I think that it is. But no, I think it's fine to give up the c6 square. Also, the e pawn is now under attack. It's not so easy to defend. You can defend it with the queen or knight g3, but neither of these moves seems to be appealing. But okay, bishop to c6. This is not possible because of queen c2. So I gotta play either rook c8 or rook b8. The difference between these two moves is, well, on c8 the rook is better, but on b8 it defends bishop b7, which I quite like. So let's put the rook there. Now bishop b7. Even though the square is guarded by the knight, I want to keep the knight on d6 because there is just a monster piece. Okay, we see the capture. I think I'm gonna take there with the queen. Though, I mean, with the queen or with the bishop, that's for sure. Would like to put the queen on e7 afterwards, but there is bishop to g5. Quite a nice move. But maybe it's fine, just queen c7. There is not as much going on the f-file, hopefully. Maybe bishop f6. But if I take with the bishop, is there a significant change? This pawn is unprotected. But maybe it is, though. I quite like capturing there with the bishop. Because that one tempo could do a lot. Because at this point I'm threatening to take the bishop, which would weaken this pawn. Even though it would weaken this strong knight as well. And also weaken this Diagonal, yeah, so maybe not as clear. But I can go to c7 with my queen immediately. Now I'm attacking the bishop. Yeah, now I'm just threatening to win a pawn. Even though things like queen f7 would got... No, they would not, because the knight got that square as well. Okay, so now I got quite a lot of pieces to choose from. I do not want to take with the knight. With the rook wouldn't be so bad, but I'm gonna take that with the queen. Because keeping the rook on the 8th rank is better, I think. Okay. Pawn to h4, that's interesting. Yeah, h5 definitely the idea. Weakens the knight, weakens the king side, but my king side will be weaker, I guess. At the same time, now I can place the queen on d7 very nicely. And if I can get the queen to g4, might be good. Attacking the knight, even though like queen f7, but both of these two squares are guarded. Maybe queen f6 or bishop f6 somehow. But I have plans of going back with the bishop to g7, but okay, my opponent guards against that idea. So now like bishop g7, is that the move? I want to move the bishop definitely because I want to challenge the rook on the f-file. Okay, let's do that. And if h5, I wanted to see that maybe pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. But there's queen takes on h5 instead of knight takes on h5. So because of that, I will stick with rook f8. Now I gotta take back with the bishop, okay? So the bishop sort of captures back and forth. Well, so far, I lost one game in a time scramble, was probably winning again. That's quite the theme of the journey so far, I would say. That I get a winning position, but that time pressure and then I mess it up. Okay, I think queen f7 is good thing to do. If I can get a queen trade, but ideally my opponent captures. Yes, I am indeed. From Czechia. I don't want to take because if g takes f3, then this pawn is nicely guarded. I'll play bishop e7, and if I can get bishop h4, yes, it is that quite late. It is 23:27 right now. I can take on f7, and I quite like it now. I'll attack the knight. And also maybe some infiltration in behind to that weak pawn. Huh. I don't know with which piece it's better to take. I'll take with the pawn for now. Now this is a threat, and I'm not sure whether the endgame would be winning. Although it probably is, because I would win 2 pawns and probably even more. Now, okay. Knight goes back like that, so maybe bishop e1 to attack the pawn. Only way to defend is to get some kind of a trade. I think I will go for it. So bishop goes there. Okay, let's get the trade. Okay, knight attacks the c4, but it's already defended, like, come on. My knight is really, really good. This pawn is weak. That's probably what I should have done. Move before. So, okay, a6, b5. So, king g5 is the thing I might play. Yeah, there it is. There it is, but I'll play b5, and this pawn is weaker, so ideas of b4, c3 are definitely there. It's gonna be difficult to calculate in a time scramble, as well, always. Okay, and my opponent retreats. So I can come in with the king, maybe. Even though I don't think it does anything significant. Because that's basically where my king will have to stay. So maybe I'll just go back, see what happens. Okay, knight comes there, is probably a better square for it. But if I just leave it like it is, it's probably gonna be a draw. Maybe knight is getting to c6. But even if so, well then, maybe I can shuffle my knight as well, but I have to keep an eye on the d pawn, which is the only passed pawn on the board. But something like this to snatch away that pawn. But no, I don't think I am in time. This. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold the draw here. Even though it felt better at the beginning, this knight endgame. Okay, I can go back to restrict the knight. Okay, I will play g5 now, even though I'm not sure if it's the way to go. Okay, knight comes back, I got that. So maybe now knight here. Okay, I have to go back with the knight. I'm attacking the pawn, and that's key to that, I think. Okay, I gotta repeat moves, but 20 seconds. The opponent might try to flag me. I'll offer a draw just to see if maybe. I'll keep on shuffling back and oh my god, I made a mistake. That's so bad. King e7 would be the draw. But now, once again, the clock. It always is the factor, because King e7 was definitely there. Now there's once again nothing to try, and even below 2,250. I think I'll have to end it here after just 2 games and 2 losses and this bad rating, because I'm quite tired, and I think it's as well why I didn't play as well, even though, as I'm saying, the first game was probably winning. This one was definitely a draw. If I go just a couple moves back, King e7 is just a draw, so knight c5, but King e7 is the simple one. So yeah, I saw it, but again, the clock. I'm gonna try to do better every single game, every single day, at least a little bit. I think today with the clock, it was actually better overall, because I was very similar to my opponents throughout the whole game basically, but just at the end I dropped down. So yeah, as I said, I'll end it right here. So let's see, maybe tomorrow will be better. At some point I will go up, but yeah, I can't tell when will it be. So yeah,